Hello, and welcome back to the Pregnancy and Postnatal Entrepreneurs Collective podcast. I am your host, Niamh Cassidy, and if you are a birth worker or a service provider providing services to pregnant or postnatal families while trying to build a thriving business while juggling all the demands that come with it, you're in the right place. Today, I want to talk about something that so many of my clients struggle with, and honestly, something I've struggled with too. Time blindness. If you're not familiar with the term, time blindness refers to the difficulty in accurately perceiving how much time has passed or how long a task will take. This can lead to constantly underestimating time, missing deadlines, overloading schedules, or feeling like time just slips away. It's especially common in people with ADHD, but really anyone juggling a business and life responsibilities can experience it, especially if you're going through perimenopause as well. So if this sounds familiar, and I know it probably does, I'll be sharing my personal experiences with time blindness, some wake-up calls I've had recently, and the strategies I've developed to manage it better. If you've ever felt like your sense of time is totally unreliable, this episode is for you. Let's dive in. So let's start with a reality check, my own struggle with time blindness. I'll be honest, I've struggled with time for years, and sometimes I really still do. One of my biggest wake-up calls recently was when I decided to take back full control of editing these podcast episodes and creating all the creative assets that go along with them. So the graphics, the guest packages, the promotional materials, all of it. Now, in my head, I thought, sure, I'll just fit it in here and there. I have the software and it's not going to take too long. And I really thought editing wouldn't really take more than an hour, as well as creating the graphics and everything as well. And how wrong was I? Once I actually sat down and did the work, I realized I had massively underestimated the time each step would take. Editing alone took over an hour, even though it was only a 30-minute episode. And by the time I'd finished creating the promotional materials, uploading and scheduling, and emailing the guest who had been on the podcast, almost a whole day had passed. And of course, because I hadn't actually planned for this properly, other tasks got pushed back. I was feeling stressed and I had to scramble to try and keep up. I see this same pattern in so many of my clients as well, and it's something that they talk about frequently. We think we know how long something will take, but we're often way off. And when we don't account for that, we run late, we feel behind, and we start doubting our ability to manage our time effectively and to get things done. So what did I do? I had to get really honest with myself and actually track my time properly. So instead of guessing, I set a timer and wrote down how long each step took. And let me tell you, it was eye-opening. Tasks that I thought were really quick and I could get done in no time turned out to be major time investments. And then once I had that data, I could finally start planning my schedule more realistically instead of setting myself up for failure, as I so often did. So let's talk about some of the key strategies for managing this time blindness, or where time just gets away from you. Once I realised how unreliable my own sense of time was, I had to rethink how I was structuring my workdays. So I'm going to take you through some of the strategies that have made the biggest difference for me. And one of those things is that I started tracking tasks in real time. So if you struggle with time blindness like me, the first thing you need to do is gather the real data about how long things actually take you. Pick a task that you do regularly, like maybe writing a blog post or responding to client emails or preparing for a client session, and time yourself doing it. Don't estimate it, actually track it. For example, I used to think writing an Instagram post would take me about 10 to 15 minutes. Then I timed myself and realised that from brainstorming to editing to scheduling, it could take me up to an hour. Now, I have got quicker at that, but I needed to track for the time that it was taking me now. So when it was taking me so long and when I didn't know it was going to take me that long, no wonder I was always feeling behind. But once I knew the real number, I could plan properly and stop overloading my schedule. And that brings me on to how I do my planning and my weekly planning, which helps me see the biggest picture. So every Sunday, I sit down and I map out my week. I write down everything I need to do and slot in the key tasks. But here's the trick. I add buffer time. I know a task took me 90 minutes last week. I'll block out 2 hours to allow for transitions, distractions, or unexpected hiccups. Another tip, color code or categorize your tasks. I separate my client work, content creation, admin, and household tasks, and my leisure tasks as well, so that I can see at a glance what's taking up most of my time and that I'm getting some level of balance between the things that I need to do. So for me, it's using colored pens. My pink pen is for work, my purple pen is for exercise and leisure, and my blue pen is for family things. So then I do my daily planning as well, and I do that the night before, because instead of waking up and deciding on the spot what I'm going to do, I plan my day the night before. I go through my schedule and make sure I know what's coming up, and I break tasks into the clear steps that need to be done to make sure that I do have enough time to fit them in. And I do it the night before because it means I can go to bed without all of that buzzing around my head, making me think, what do I have to do tomorrow? What do I have to do tomorrow? So when I'm putting in my steps, instead of just writing record podcasts on my list, I'll break that down into steps. So outline the podcast script if I haven't done that already, record, edit the first draft, upload and schedule, just so that I know exactly all the different tasks that are in there. And this makes it easier to stay on track because I can see exactly what needs to happen rather than a vague, overwhelming task that might take all day if I don't break it down. I also have a bit of a 3 tasks rule to avoid overload. So one of the biggest mistakes I used to make was writing down way too many things to do on my to-do list. I'd have a list of 10 tasks, tick off 2, and then feel like failure. Sound familiar? Now I really try to limit myself to just 3 major tasks per day. These are the non-negotiables, the things that if I get them done, I'll feel accomplished, and everything else is a bonus. And not all of these things are work tasks. Sometimes one of my key tasks is a workout. This approach has been a game changer for me because it really helps keep me focused and stops me from feeling overwhelmed by an endless to-do list. I do love ticking off a list. So then if I don't get it complete, it can really mess with my head. So now let's talk about how you can start managing your time better as well. If time blindness is something that you struggle with, if the things that I've talked about here sound familiar, here's a simple action plan to start improving your time management. So I would start with starting to track your own time. Pick one task today and time yourself doing it properly, and write down how long it actually takes, and give yourself time to do that over the next week or so with lots of different tasks as well. Also, plan your week with buffer time because things are going to come up. Give yourself extra space in your schedule so you're not constantly feeling behind if your tasks run over or if you get that call from school and you have to drop everything and run. Also, I highly recommend planning your day the night before so you can know exactly what you have to do tomorrow and break your tasks into clear time-blocked steps so you don't feel overwhelmed and you know that you can actually fit it in. And try to stick to 3 key tasks a day. Don't overload your to-do list. Get the most important things done first, or the things that you dislike the most, because if you get them done, then they're done and you can get on with the rest of your tasks feeling a little bit more confident and without that dread of having to do that task. And review and adjust weekly. Take 5 minutes at the end of each week to reflect on what worked, what didn't, and how you can improve. So there you have it. That is my experience with time blindness, the wake-up calls I've had, and the strategies that are helping me to stay on track. And I really hope that you will take some of them on if this is something that you struggle with, because one thing that I see in birth workers all the time is just feeling like you're not enough. So we want to make sure that everything that you do makes you feel like enough, because really you are. And if you found these few little tips helpful, just let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram or tag me in your stories if you are talking about how you are going to manage this after listening to the episode. And if you do want more support with structuring your time and running your business more efficiently, you can get on the waitlist for the Nest program, where we dive really deep into productivity and making sure your business works for you and not just against you. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode, which is going to be a guest episode that I think you are really going to enjoy. So make sure you are subscribing so that you never miss an episode. And if you have a couple of minutes, I would also love if you left me a review, because that helps other people find this podcast too. Okay, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to download your totally free copy of the Birthworkers Business Playbook, now available for a limited time only. So check out the show notes to get your link and get your copy.